Hello everyone, this is Music and All, back at it with another video. If you don't understand this title, it's about Mandate, a Thai BL that came out in 2025. So I'll be skipping over episode 1 because I didn't really pay attention during that episode. It was boring to me. I don't really remember any of the details. I just remember it opening with we getting out of a car talking to some village people about politics or something. Because it was so boring to me, that's also why I dropped the show a few months back, and it took so long for me to pick it back up. Because anything politics theme, like girl, I don't really care, and that'll be evident later because I didn't take note on any of the actual politics of it all. I just paid more attention to the plot with the two men and everybody else. Now, since I skipped over episode 1, let's just get straight into episode 2. I enjoyed the bathroom scene where Wee's towel dropped when he was supposed to be taking a shower. And before this, you can see the banter between them, and I kind of like that. It added comedy to the very heavy topic of politics and how we navigate that as someone that had no interest in it before, which I understand. I've been in that realm of the world where I have people in my life that were not looking to be politicians, and now they are. So, yeah, I relate to that for sure. Anyways, I like the table scene as well, where we openly confessed to being a gay man when he was asking Nong about his past relationships, because Nong wasn't really clear. So I'm like, is this a straight turn gay type situation? Like, what are we working with here? Even now, like after I finish the show, I'm pretty sure we don't know the gender of Nong's exes, but they don't matter because she's with we. Like, okay. And I feel like we picked up on that too. And because he openly confessed to being a gay man and having 2 or 3 exes, one of them will show up later. And, this was important because at the time, we was notorious for lying to get what he wants and where he needed to be. Anything for politics, am I right, guys? And it was refreshing to see him being open, honest, and vulnerable with Nong, and that led to Nong opening up as well, especially in the future. It might not seem like he did too much at the table at the moment, but it definitely helped him get closer, and Nong never seemed taken aback. He didn't really care if we was gay, so, maybe Nong was a queer individual prior to getting in a relationship with we. I don't remember if they said it, but it doesn't matter because they're together anyways. Since I mentioned the bathroom scene, another thing that stuck out to me was the doctor thinking about Wee's dick at the dinner table in episode 3, and it was funny to me for no reason because, mind you, it was kind of a full circle moment where we saw Nong's dick in episode 2 because his towel fell, and then in episode 3, we has to shower outside for some reason. I don't remember what, and he was afraid of geckos, so a gecko made a noise and we like jumped, and that triggered Nong to look back, and because we was showering and like washing up outside, he was naked, so Nong saw his schlong. And so after that, there Nong, we, and the dad of Nong, I think, like it was a group gathering, they were all at the table, and Nong was low-key spacing out. I think he was spacing out while looking down into the side to like the left of him, and while he's like spacing out, I feel like bro was just thinking about what could have been, what should have been, and that's all I had for episode 3. So moving on to episode 4, the fake dating scene in episode 4, specifically around the 36-minute mark, is how I view some BL actors, because there's no way all of y'all can maintain a good relationship with each other on and off screen, or like you can genuinely act like that with your on-screen partner, especially if you know the actor, like your on-screen counterpart, is dating someone off-screen. For example, I'm not saying this is like this couple, but for example, Mayo and Apo, considering that Mayo is/was dating a girl at some point. I don't know if they're still together, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, you like, obviously it's work, but it is what it is. Moving on. The English at the 38-minute mark, where had me laughing out loud for a good 2 minutes straight, because where did that English even come from? Now I've seen that man being the one that plays Sun in a BL before. I'll put the BL up. I don't. It's like Saneha stories, and I was gonna rewatch the BL he was in eventually. Eventually, there's a lot I have to watch, guys. I also had a feeling that was his ex too, considering that we brought it up 2 episodes ago. But I'm glad they confirmed it for the doctor. Also, why does the restaurant setting remind me of the cover of Good Old Days or whatever that show was with Chris? I'll insert what I mean because like it gave that same vibe. I don't know if it was the exact place because I didn't really watch the show, so it's in my watch list. Trust. Moving on to episode 5. The scene in episode 5 at the 28-minute mark where the doctor was singing Happy Birthday, the doctor being Nong. I'm sorry, I didn't give a introduction. So he's a doctor turned politician, and he was singing Happy Birthday to Wee while he was crying. Literally made my computer die, and it crashed. So while I was watching it, my computer just shut off, and I'm like, girl, why did it shut off? And I forgot that I needed to charge it because your MacBook tells you like a 10% warning, and I ignored that for the sake of watching. And I plugged it up. I tried watching it again. I was ready to roll, and it crashed. So I had to hard reset it. But we're so back. Like, she's a little tired, but it was great for me because I was literally cringing the entire time. Because imagine you were crying because your family forgot your birthday. Mostly his dad, because I don't think Wee's mom is dead or something, and then he has a half brother or something like that. Imagine your family forgot your birthday and one of them pisses you off, and the person you're talking to about it starts singing Happy Birthday. My guy just got slapped by his older brother and you're trying to sing Happy Birthday? Me personally, I would start crying even more. Not happy tears, not even sad tears, but tears of frustration because you really have the audacity to sit here and sing to me when I'm already having a terrible day.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Me too. Happy birthday.
What compels you to think that singing from a person that's not even a professional is going to make me feel better? Like, I love the sentiment. Love you down for that. Like, thank you, but never again. Cut. No, we don't need any of that. Also, the fact that they didn't even kiss there either just had me clenching my chest the entire time because the sexual tension was there. It was there. I was waiting. The doctor was there to comfort him, but also he was ready to eat those lips. Like, he was trying so hard to concentrate on the fact that Wee was mad about the fact that his family forgot about his birthday. And because he was trying to focus on the task at hand, he couldn't be slipping up by kissing and then gauging Wee's feelings. Because, whatever. I was going to say something, but it comes up later. But in reality, I know that we know, that you know, that he knows he fell in love with Wee first, and he fell hard. And can we talk about
the political and economic state of the world right now?
that tension at the 35-minute mark too? The tension plus the phone call later around the 39-minute mark. Please. Literally, my heart cannot take it anymore. Also, I don't know if I skipped too much in this episode, but despite bro crying, they didn't even actually celebrate his birthday. Like, they only celebrated the election results. Maybe they did celebrate the birthday and like it got missed in translation, or I just don't remember. But they celebrated the election results that happened to be on the same day, I think. Also, the part around the 57-minute mark where the dad was trying to make the doctor the minister of public health, but as soon as he realized that Wee betrayed him, just the look in both of their faces is very telling, and the acting is just so good because I wanted to cry, and not because I was sad. Like, we know the drill. I'm not a sappy sap, but because that just showcases how their efforts over the past election would have went down the drain if he took the position. So their eyes and their body language showcased all of the unspoken words that were going through each other's like minds at the time. And when the doctor resigned, I couldn't wait to see what happened next because Wee was already saying prior to that meeting that he felt bad about the entire situation. So seeing it unfold while having him sit there, my heart. And I'm so glad I watched this almost a year later because if I had to sit here and see this cliffhanger in real time and wait for another week, no. I don't think I could handle it. Like, part of the reason why I started watching most of the shows that I make a video about later, once they finish airing and I let them like sit, because I would be having withdrawal symptoms and just crash out as I wait for 7 days to come. That's also part of the reason why I don't like reading in progress fan fictions, because I crash out. Like, I'm turning into Miss Simeon. My bad, guys, my bad. Moving on to episode 6. I like how the photographer guy said to apologize since Wee was feeling guilty. I don't agree, considering that Wee lied to the doctor and said that he didn't know that the policy was going to get scrapped. So it's not like he's actually apologetic for that reason that the doctor thinks. Also, I'm surprised the doctor even believed that, considering Wee's head was down the entire time and he just looked like there was bad news that was going to be out. Yet for him to sit there and say he didn't know about the policy and only knew that the doctor was going to get appointed as the minister sounds like it doesn't even make sense, which it doesn't. But the doctor didn't know that at the time. And thus, with that in mind, what is the point of apologizing when you don't feel remorseful? And you're not even on the same terms with the other person. But let me know in the comments because maybe I'm just thinking about it too hard. Okay, you have time to let it marinate. That's good. But while that's marinating, I must say I ended up writing that portion before actually watching the scene where he apologized, because during the last scene he admits to lying and about telling him that he didn't know about it. Also, can we talk about the
political and economic state of the world right now?
Can we talk about the minor details for a second? Because anytime the doctor Nong is at home, he looks very homey and family oriented, like just like a chill guy. I wouldn't even say a doctor off duty. I guess you would say that actually. Like he's very free spirited. I don't know how to explain it, but they have his hair in a fade, but his bangs are down. Contrarily, anytime he's doing politician work, he looks very closed off and focused, driven, very dapper to the point where it feels forced that he's put together. Yet he still has the same personality, and I think they did that by matching his outfit to his hair. And that showcases the dichotomy in his life approach, from initially not liking politics to working in politics, to then going back to not working in politics after resigning. Very minor details, but it's very indicative of the doctor as a character. Now, some of my statement will change later, and, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The 12-minute mark where the sister was telling him to fight really had me ready to shed a tear.
อย่ามินค่อยๆว่าไหนฟังอยู่
The acting from the sister and then the two main leads are so good. A lot of the emotions that they portray when it comes to their face rather than the actual dialogue is just chef's kiss. And because the dialogue is supplemental to their body language, that is what had me ready to pull out the waterworks. To continue, the 22-minute mark where they had dinner at the restaurant, girl, why was we looking mad irritated? And mind you, this is a 1-year time skip, so we're still in the bro zone with these two. What has me is the fact that Nong is flopping as the Minister of Health. Girl, not only are you flopping as the Minister of Health, you're also flopping as a friend. Because why are you too busy to hang out with Wee in the past month? I don't know why at the time I found it so funny, because it's just like, Wee was pissed. Like, it was kind of like the feeling of, you wanting to hang out with somebody, but they're busy, so you kind of like go into the hangout sulking and like joking about it, but Wee was like, oh, so now you have time for me? Kind of like, I don't remember if he said that exactly, but he had that kind of body language. Crazy. And the 26-minute mark had me cheering like, fine, a fucking Lee. All the sexual tension for almost 2 years now. But I wish we still would have seen scenes between when he was appointed as the Minister of Public Health to the actual dinner, but I digress. Like, we could have done a montage. Anyway, is this the way my smile fucking faded when we get a call from his dad? Like, broy Joey, the doctor was trying to... the doctor literally was trying to hold your hand and confess. And you know who cock blocks you? Your own papa. Moving on, it was revealed that the doctor had been taking these drugs for 20 years, and because of stress, I guess, he passed out in front of the press, and it was Nong talking to Wee about how he's been taking the drugs for 20 years, and he gets them from a pharmacist friend because they're not legal in Thailand yet, because they're not FDA approved. So he really had his pharmacist friend smuggle it in. Are we for real? You are an addict? And this man saying he's not an addict is literally what an addict would say. What has me is the fact that the doctor is trying to ask Wee to have some sympathy for him, saying that he wouldn't have to resort to the drugs if the job wasn't so difficult. But this is the same man that said 30 seconds prior that he'd been taking the drugs for 20 years. So you becoming a minister a year ago has nothing to do with the fact that you've been pumping those drugs for 19 years before that. Are we for real? I would say the fact that they had Jump go to prison in his stead is crazy work. But then again, that's extremely realistic, where politicians will throw somebody else under the bus in order to deflect their own shortcomings. And Jump's response to being in a VIP jail cell and taking the blame for everything is just sad to see, because he really thinks he's more useful sitting in jail awaiting his bail than an actual useful member of society. And maybe I skipped too much in the beginning of the series, because Jump glazing the doctor, saying that he would be nothing without him, and that being an ex-convict is fine because the doctor practically saved his life, is crazy work. The glaze, the honey nut glaze. Like, I don't care who it is. You don't even see me saying the same thing about my mom, bro. I am not taking the fall for something that she did because she raised me. Like, what? And you're giving this honey nut glaze to him? Nah, bro. Despite Jump being sentenced to time in the slammer in the doctor's stead. The crowd goes wild at the 39-minute mark after the sexual tension had turned into real feelings as they finally became a real couple.
ถามคุณนะจริงปะ
แล้วถ้ามันชัวร์มันก็ไม่ใช่คู่จิ้นสิ
ถ้างั้นก็ไม่เป็นไปแล้วไหมคู่จริงฮะเป็นคู่จริงเลยไหมยิ้ม
ทำไมอ่ะยิ้มไม่ได้เหรอ
ยิ้มได้ ก็ไม่ได้ว่าอะไร แต่แค่อยากรู้ว่ายิ้มเรื่องเดียวกันหรือเปล่าจะทำพ่อตัวเองตาย
You're telling me you were high as a kite, so you chose the other guy's dad, so because you knew that you wouldn't have the mental capacity to save your dad. So in order to not kill your own dad, you chose the... That's insane. Just for you to... So Broski has been holding on to the secret for years. But like my thing is, I feel... Let me just hear what V has to say, because what can you even say to that? How much of a monster does that make you? That makes you a monster, bro. But like, I feel like that's a natural thing. Like, wasn't Kunman Tong, whatever his name is, a bad person? I'm not saying you should... Actually, this is just like a morally gray decision, so let me know what y'all think in the comments, because like, my initial reaction, as y'all could see, was like, ain't no way. And I feel like I said that because there's no way I would admit that to somebody. I feel like that's something I would take to the grave, considering so much political heat he's gotten for it, and the fact that like it's been a topic of discussion for the entire time. Like, not even his dad knows that. That's just crazy, bro. Oh. Well, he is drunk, so you could not waterboard the information out of me, like. But also, what is with people comforting and just dismissing the bad behavior of other people? Like, first, yesterday the series did it where Kelvin was forgiven for everything because of the environment in which he grew up in, and now like, the doctor is just getting like I'm not even gonna try to say sins, but his bad behavior just, you know, absolved because it's all in the past. So T, the son of the person that the doctor killed, presented new evidence saying that the actual surgical record from that day showcases that Dr. Nong's drug addiction caused the patient's death. Gagged. Where are we getting this information? So he basically is on air basically saying that political power was used to interfere with this case, but he didn't have political power, so who would have been the person to like... Would it be his dad? Because his dad was a person of power at the time, which is how the shootout even became a thing. But his dad technically would have been like sick. What a way to end the episode.
Now, I didn't have much to say about episode 7 because a lot of it just the same storyline about one guy's dad being killed by the doctor, and I've just been intaking the information and trying not to comment on it. But my thing is the fact that why are we bringing this up again for the second or third time in the second to last episode if it wasn't that important from the beginning? Just mention it when he was going through the controversy the first time. And yes, those documents were forged by Sun, Wee's ex. Girl, we do not care about your dad. He wasn't a good guy. But what has me is the fact that the ex-boyfriend was over here playing in the doctor's face, talking about how him and Wee stayed the night together to secure a deal with OPM at the 21-minute mark. I'm curious, did the doctor not want to be kissed? Because why is it that the first kiss we ever see in the show is between Wee and Sun? Like, I don't know if I skipped the first one or what, but that's his ex. I don't care if it wasn't on the lips, it was on his neck, I don't care. The doctor and Wee don't get their first kiss until after that. Like, can we be for real? I didn't wait all this time for y'all to serve nothing. No. Like, I get it. Not every gay romance needs to have sex scenes and kissing and clinginess, but come on now. They just got together last episode 6. Give us something. And I'm not talking about more drama, because as soon as they got together, the drug thing came out and they went back to referring to each other as friends and being on the outs. I don't even know how to feel about this entire part, because they get into an argument and I understand where the doctor is coming from. And now I don't know if he's coming from the standpoint of we lying in the past.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop fucking lying.
He's quick to jump on the bandwagon just to take what Sun said at face value, or if it's because them as a couple and they have yet to do those activities before, just imagining that he went to see his ex in exchange for hundreds of millions of dollars, or if it's because them as a couple have yet to do those things, so just imagining we and his ex doing things for in exchange for hundreds of millions of dollars is what set him over the edge. But punching the wall is where I draw the line, because it was intentionally or unintentionally meant to hit we. So we don't do domestic violence around here. It's like you're acting irrational and erratic for something that can be solved with a basic conversation and the employment of listening skills. Talking about, oh, I don't want to see you again. It's like, girl, I wouldn't want to see you either if you punched the wall next to my face as if you were actually punching my face. But whatever, moving on. We'll acknowledge that, but still move on nicely. The fact that the lady asks about the picture that the doctor has of them too on the counter behind his desk, just for him to put it down, it's crazy work, because you're the one that was acting out, and now everyone, including the people that ship them together, have to deal with the consequences. It's like, you don't have to do all that over a question. It's just a picture. It's just a question. About fan service, you could literally just say yes, no, maybe so, and move on. Keep the answer ambiguous if you want. But, my heart, because you didn't have to say all that. He was doing too much. He was doing too much. Like, it's one thing to just say focus on the work. Like, it's one thing to say that you're going to focus on the work that you're doing rather than the ship. But he went into detail about how they're just coworkers working for the same party. Like, you're too much. And I don't like how we had to be the one to wait outside the doctor's office, because it was the doctor that was being too harsh, and he was the one that should hear we out. So what are we doing? Like, Nong should have been the one to initiate them getting back together. Nonetheless, this is realistic, because I've done something like that to some extent, where I was told off or I was ghosted, so I went out of my way to communicate with that person. But not everybody wants to employ communication one-on-one. So you got to be the bigger man, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Gotta move on eventually. Related to that apology I mentioned earlier, the secretary that works for we is a good friend, because she told the doctor to hear him out, and him as in we, and that he was being too harsh to intentionally avoid him, which he didn't have to do. The entire thing where we made the driver drive to the middle of nowhere just so he can meet up with the doctor had me a little scared. Like, imagine this happened to you, where your friend was driving you home and you were tired, so you go to sleep and then you wake up in the middle of a forest. What, girl? In the middle of the night, and then you see your current partner there that you're in cahoots with come out from the shadows saying that we need to talk. Like, girl, I am good on that. And the random English again from Sun had me tired. Like, can we please give it a rest?
เรามาลงถึงความรักกันหน่อยไหม โอเค พี่ก็ไม่ได้จะทำจริงๆหรอกนะ แค่วีไม่คอนเซนต์พี่ก็เฟลแล้ว There's someone in your eyes. แต่ถึงพี่จะไม่สามารถทำให้วีกลับมารักพี่ได้ พี่ก็ไม่อยากให้วีเกลียดพี่นะ Can we still be friends? โอเค พี่ตกลงที่จะเปลี่ยนซัพพลายเออร์โครงการหมอทางไกลเป็น OPM แต่อย่าไปบอกใครนะว่าพี่ยอมให้วีง่ายๆรักษาฟอร์มพี่หน่อย ขอบคุณครับ แต่ไอ้ที่พี่บอกว่าจะรำลึกความหลังกับวีเนี่ย เล่นคาทานกับพี่หน่อยสิ ตั้งแต่กลับมาทำงานพักนะหาคนเล่นด้วยไม่ได้เลย นะ เล่นโต้รุ่งกันเหมือนเมื่อก่อนไง นะ
Just because the script said you studied abroad, that doesn't mean we gotta add random English into the mix. So we're nearing the end with episode 8. So 30 minutes into episode 8 is melodramatic as hell, for real, at the 27-minute mark. I wonder what his brother asked him to do, because Bro's guilt is settling in and we don't even know what to expect. The whole bed scene was dramatic, but the cinematography ate, just for we to move out a few hours later. Imagine being left by your partner in the middle of the night with no word And no note, no nothing, just to be bombarded by cameras and news outlets reporting about it hours later. I'd be on the verge of a mental breakdown, but again, he's a politician. He can handle it.
I can handle him. Hold up. I can handle him.
It's the crying at the 37-minute mark, like we know what's going on for me. Like, if we knew as an audience member what your brother said and what made you leave, then we would be like, oh, okay, we have something to feel bad for. We can employ empathy and sympathy, stuff like that. But we can't do that without context. And all of this is happening. As all of this was happening, I was just looking around my room a little confused, like, girl, get up. It's crazy how the dad and the brother were two-timing. Like, the dad took Nong and the older brother took his younger brother. Since this is a live reaction, I do wonder if the dad and the brother were working together. Spoiler alert, I don't think they were, but I did a lot of skipping, so who knows for sure. It's crazy how Sun ended up being the anti-hero of the story. One, by telling V about the drugs, and two, telling him about the blackmail, plus hit on Nong in the last episode, even though he still had ill intent. At the 54-minute mark, I don't even know who to feel bad for at this point, because all of this was self-inflicted, and the fact that the doctor's on the verge of crying, it's just funny, but it's not at the same time. Like, sir, you need to be stopped. You jeopardized everything just for you to get where you are, despite not even wanting to be into politics in the first place. And that just shows the level of corruption that occurs, but it also makes it a full circle moment for what they were talking about in the first few episodes, debating the personalities of politicians, and if you're born a politician or politics changes your personality, things like that. I think it was or somebody basically said, if you don't change politics, politics will change you. Something like that, but that ate it up. It's very interesting. Like, their form of political radicalism shifted into something different. And like I said before, this was heavily influenced by the corrupt nature of politics and how a seemingly naive but firm in his belief individual turns out to be someone that is willing to do whatever it takes to achieve his own goal.
I'm watching you.
Anyways, during that interaction where the doctor asks if we saved him, I feel like because we said, why would I save you? That should be an indicator that, yeah, he in fact did save you. Because if he didn't know what you were talking about, or if he didn't want you to know the answer to that question, he would have just said that. He didn't know what you were talking about. But I don't know if they'll explore that later, since there's 10 minutes left of the last episode. But I feel like that's something he needs to pick up, that we is putting down. I don't know if he did, but that's okay, because with the help of the reporter girl, they get to join forces. And I was trying not to laugh when he was crying his tail off over those croissants, but live, laugh, love, good eats. Overall, there were some parts where I didn't really care about the storyline, and so I skipped parts of those episodes, and that's only because I don't really care about politics, especially like Thai politics. Girl, I'm barely set for my own country's politics. Go blue. Just kidding. Nonetheless, this is peak cinema that wasn't really talked about when it came out. I know there's a lot of hype leading up to it, but once it started airing, it was crickets. And that's saying something, consider I followed a lot of BL-related social media accounts at the time, and there better be a season 2, because what was that ending, bro? Even if they ended it with this season, I feel like they tried to clean up all the storylines in the last 5 to like 15 minutes of the episode, which didn't make it feel natural, and it made it a little confusing at the end. But it is what it is. We do need to see, if we do get a season 2, I really hope they explore how Wee is going to be working with his ex. I hope it's not a cheating arc where, he falls in love with the rival. I don't know, whatever. Also, just like most Thai BLs, my biggest complaint is the fact that it doesn't take place in a setting where the main couple are on an equal playing field. For example, they'll be like, oh, this is my boyfriend, Nong Billy. Or while talking to their boyfriend, they'll just call them by their professional stylist, like P or P Doctor. Or like, I find it weird personally, because it's like you're dating now, so you don't have to call him Doctor. Like, why can't you just call him by his name? But maybe it's a cultural thing, because I've noticed this a lot across different companies and different shows. To continue with my feedback or just thoughts, my interest peaked from episode 2 to 5, and then maybe 6 to 8, but that's pushing it. Anyways, the moral of the story is that politics gets people acting like a trip because they changed individuals or exacerbated the behaviors, specifically the corrupt behaviors that they already partake in, and amplified them to be seen on a multimedia standpoint, which is not good for any relationship. To sum this all up, change politics before it changes you. Stay safe out there, kids. Peace, love. See you in the next one. Bye.